it until I was like okay with Microsoft Office. So there where I started teaching myself. I designed the first NTA ticket of Liberia that was issued to a Liberian company
Oh, wow.
at the time, 2000 now. I was working with East Internet Cafe.
Mm-hmm.
So when the contract was issued to him, to all Liberians to bid for it, he came to me and said, "Oh, look, can you design a ticket, this bus ticket?" I told him, I'm not a kind of person that nobody tells you that I can't do it. So as long as it is in the tax fee, I don't tell you that I can't. I told him, I said, okay, let me carry home. I carry home and I start to fight. And I made 6 samples. The samples that I made were actually accepted. But being that my boss man never had, pocket change for those people that were like controlling the bidding process. Mm-hmm. So we were not called.
Oh, wow.
So he came to me and told me that, oh, my man, won't win the contract. I said, whatever contract meant for us, we get it. We left the one sitting and then you receive call from Ministry of Transport. We say, is this Mr. Steve? He said, yes. We went ahead to select the design that he came with. So we need you at the office now in order to sign the MOP. He was very excited. So he went and we closed the entire internet cafe. We turned the internet cafe into printing press because we were printing the tickets and what. I think the first money was something around 40K. Mm-hmm. Okay. But when I saw it, at that time, my father was actually taking my salary because I never wanted to be controlled by money. I wanted to focus on learning, focus on my passion, my dream. I saw that accepting money to play part in that, time was going to change my entire mentality. So I called my father. My father was actually going at the end of the month to take my salary. So I was just concentrating on developing myself, learning strategies from people around me. So when I saw it 2011, I said, no, I have to quit this job and go and focus on learning. So I told my boss, I said, I want to leave. He said, no, you can't leave. I said, I need to go and advance myself. So I left. I went Guinea in order to be with my mother, but unfortunately she wasn't there. But there where my father too, he saw the passion I had. He wanted me to go in the States or Canada or Australia. But it wasn't fruitful because someone that we knew could help us ended up duping us and took the money from us. But that doesn't me to learn Africa. He saw that level of intelligence that I had. So he never wanted me to attend at all in Africa. So I told him, I said that I can't keep sitting. When I came from Guinea after 2 years sitting after graduating from high school, he kneeled down begging me and said, "Oh, forgive me, I delay." And I said, no, everything is done by God. We don't know why I was delayed, but that will not stop me from still dreaming big. So I keep on pushing, I get a little money and take online courses, get ideas, buy material, do private car. I left in it until I started even doing master courses for people in Canada. There's a man, he's a representative now in Guinea. Mm-hmm. I was even doing master course for him. I can't pronounce it.
Yeah, I understand. That's okay. That's okay.
So I was even doing his master course for him in Canada, and everyone was like, "What are you doing in Africa?" So my only response to them had been, maybe the next Elon Musk need to come from Africa. This is what as I'm staying in Africa. So I keep on pushing. I decided to have my own server, and I can say you were my dream come true, because at the time you contacted me to develop your website, at that time I was in the bush hunting. Okay, I was hunting. And from my little experience, I said, let me start posting in group. Maybe I'll get somebody that will contact me saying I don't have any money to do marketing yet. Mm-hmm. And from what you gave me, brought me where I am today. I'm very much grateful for that.
Oh, no problem, man.
Yeah, and this what I learned, I have decided to impact others, that which I have already placed on. I've already written the proposal for it, the way in which I'm going to execute it. By perfection, someone that is passionate about robotic engineering. Mm-hmm. I believe that if we focus on robotic engineering here in Liberia, even the agriculture sector will have machine. We build our own machine that will help the agriculture sector, that will help the industrial sector, and we won't be kind of thinking on kind of importing machines to do manual works or complex works, for us here in Liberia or in Africa.
Yeah, that is so great, man. I'm so impressed with what you are doing, the things you are being able to accomplish for a young Liberian, and being able to overcome all of the obstacles that have been placed in your way. Hopefully you are inspiration to other young Liberians listening out there today. And hopefully whatever they too are dreaming of doing, that they will continue to push and pursue it, because that is the only way you can have any sort of success. So I met Francois when I was looking for a Liberian web designer. I live in the US. I do a lot of business in Liberia. And there was a certain point I just put my foot down. I said, you know what happened? Nobody in America will do any kind of work like that for me again. I will find somebody in Liberia. And any way we got to face it, we'll face it. I was prepared for all kind of challenges. But then when I met Francois, he was so professional. He was so on point. He was so knowledgeable. I was surprised. I was taken aback. But at the same time, I was excited. And since then, I hooked myself to him. And I told him we'll ride it here. He has done the first one. We got 2 more to get done. Other people have already started calling me. Since my website went live, Liberians have started calling me, man, who did a website? Who did a website? I said that his name is Francois, he lives in Liberia. He said, what? The man live web? I said, the man living right in Liberia. Right there, they are shocked. So I hope that you get a flood of business. I would definitely direct more people to you to get job done, because that is how we build each other. There's no reason why anybody in Liberia or anybody, even in America, should be looking for somebody in America to do their website. When you have young men like Francois who have the passion, they have the vision, and they can get those things done. Francois, so let me ask you, we talk about the website and stuff like that. You don't have to, okay? But do you want to tell us, like some of the things you are involved in right now?
Okay. The website creation is just one of the few services that we provide. Okay. We also build financial management software, which we have done with a few microfinance institute. Some of them called us recently and confirmed to us that you guys have a very solid system. This system that you people gave to us was just the money that you people requested for was just a peanut. Okay, it said that this is a complete banking system. Okay, so we normally we are very much happy when we get such a feedback from people. We have done great works for NGOs. We have done great work for private businesses. We have written proposal for people that have gone to win grant or financing. And we are also into promotion, digital marketing. We are involved into project implementation. That is, you have a project and you need that project to be implemented well. There where Stone Age International comes into play. Okay, Stone Age International is another form of company that we set aside to implement project of that kind. And Stone Age International is also involved into construction. We have our engineer team that we normally send on site where you want your construction to be and to take place. We're sending that to go and study the soil and all of those things, and then we'll get back to you to advise you what needs to be done, what not to be done. We carry on survey. We do market analysis. So yeah, these are just quite few of those things that we are involved in. As you see on the flyer, that our contact is there. If you want to get more detail on what we are very, very much involved with, We are knowledgeable when it comes to the business sector. We are knowledgeable on a lot of things. Okay, we are involved into drop shipping and sourcing. Okay, so we have a very solid team that are very, very, very knowledgeable when it comes to projects, when it comes to doing work or getting tasks done. So even if you are in a state you want your halls or whatsoever to be constructed back here, you just trust Stone Age International that full with a lot of professional, financially disciplined individuals that will carry on your tasks and report it in a timely manner.
Awesome, man. Great things you guys are doing. Great things. Like I said, I am so impressed. So for those of you who are watching us by Facebook in StreamYard, his contact information is up. You guys can contact him at any time. There's a list of services that they provide, and even more. Let me tell you, and I'll stop to this 7 a year. Let me tell you the truth, right? No. Even more than that. So you contact them, and they will surprise you. They will surprise you on what they are capable of doing. And there's just a few more information, just things that he was skirting over. But it's great. It's great, man. I appreciate what you guys are doing. You know, we have a lot of negative things that come from home. So when we have positive things that come from home, you know, we rush to highlight it and to put it out there. And let me ask you a question here. So what are your plans for, because you know there's a lot, I'm sure there's a lot of young people out there that are listening and they are like, man, Francois, what you do for us? Like, you know, are you gonna do some classes? Are you planning on putting together a program or something to teach young people, especially those in high school, and early graduates? What plans do you have over there?
Okay. With the issue of the plan, as I said from the beginning, I have now a business plan on a project. Okay, that has to do with starting from the very basic and then ending as a robotic engineer practitioner, not just as a theoretical person, but a practical person. Okay, I designed this program where we have 2 instructors teaching a section at the same time, okay, so that the class can be entertaining. And you are going to come and start from the very scratch, no matter whether you are knowledgeable of A, B, C, D. If you are coming, you are starting from the very beginning, because we don't want, once you are promoted to the next section, and then you start to ask questions that were dealt with in the previous section.
Yeah.
So the course is designed to, for us to engage in a step-by-step. Before the implementation of this project I'm on at this grant that we won from the government, that is to empower or electrify those rural homes with this solar light.
Okay.
It's a 100K grant. Okay, in order for us to electrify the solar home.
Awesome.
So I was working on like launching. So I had people coming in. Oh, my man, I want to be part. I really love the passion that you have. I want to invest. I want to be a passive investor. Mm-hmm. Okay. So I told all of them that I said, hold on. Because at that time, we were like, full to full with the government concerning the proposal that was sent in, and we knew that we were going to be selected. Mm-hmm. So I never wanted to hold any more money, mm-hmm. and then divert my attention to go and implement the project, because I had the entire execution of the project in my palm, so that the project can fail.
Okay.
When at that time it reached, we had the spot where we were supposed to use as the classroom. We wanted to have at least 12 persons in the classroom, teach from beginner, mm-hmm. Macro Windows, how to boot, how to troubleshoot, how to do all those manual things from there, and then we teach you how to get into the programming and networking, teach you how to browse on the internet, how to make use of the internet. So everything was structured in a section manner. That if you're living from one section to another, you already have the basic of the beginning of the next section. Okay, so we decided to have this program to run for 2 years, almost like a college program. But we decided for us to run for 2 years, and after that 2 years, we were thinking on having a hub in those various counties, that those people that will graduate will go to those various hubs and then become the administrator there, also try to empower those people in those various countries. But due to limited funds, so we're kind of struggling in having the area. Like for me, if I set my mind on something or somewhere, I just want to get that identical place. We found a very nice building at Bannersville Junction, newly constructed. So the guy was saying that, oh look, you guys need to pay 3 years for the area. So that is 6,000 worth per year. 3 years was something around 18,000. So I was kind of talking with him. I said, look, let me give the first 1 year, which is 6,000. And then from what I would get, and then I try to pay the additional 2 years. So they were wait until they didn't agree. They said I should make it 2 years. And until the entire project comes into play, and then I just put everything on pause. Those people that are waiting to come on board with funds in order for us to buy equipment, the machines, practical material in order to really execute the task well. Yeah. I told them, I said, y'all need to hold on. Let me finish the implementation of this project. Then I will call you guys, and then we will try to work as a team. Okay. Yeah, so I actually want to give back. I've recruited some people that currently work with me. Okay. For me, I believe that Africa as a whole. So I got a few persons from Guinea, and also a few people from here, Liberia. Yeah. Try to teach them, empower them, and so.
Awesome, man. Okay, so I know. Look, my man, 30 minutes can go so fast. You know, maybe Wednesday was scheduled. Yeah, maybe Wednesday was scheduled a complete hour with you. But I didn't want to miss this opportunity, so I said let's just bring you on. But the 2 minutes that we have left, could you please, for the people out there on Radio Land, can you please give them your contact information? Can you please say what your contact information is so that they can hear it?
So my contacts are +231 888 35 0792, and then the orange is +231 778 827 880, and then our email is contact@RTC techconsultant.com.
Okay, all right. And I got a question. What's your website? What's your website address?
Okay, the website, currently we want it to be on a A2 hoster, because that is the one that we are going to be using for the hosting purpose. Yeah. So as of now, once you go there, you see that under development, because we want to finalize the financial aspect of it, where people or other developers we have liberty to go and just pay without calling us, and have their C panel at their disposal. So as of now, it's a2hoster.net, but once you visit it, it will be there under development. Okay.
So you guys will soon have it up and running, where people will be able to go on and get your contact and do their registration, or even having to call you. Okay, sounds good. Hey man, thank you so much, Francois, for the time. Thank you for what you are doing. You guys have heard it here. His telephone number has been posted here. And if you want to reach out, definitely do so. I will tell you right now, please, 3 seats. That classroom, that program you're developing, my organization will sponsor 3 scholarships for 3 people in the area. So that 12 seat, please keep 3 for us, okay? And we'll definitely sponsor 3 young Liberians to do that. Thank you so much, Francois, for joining us. Way out there in Saclay, but we're grateful, man. We're grateful for what you are doing. Let's keep in touch, and hopefully we can circle back, man, and bring you on maybe another time. And we can even at that time open up the phone lines and have people call and see if they got any questions and stuff like that. Okay. But you have us be safe out there, and great job what you are doing, man. All right.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, man. All right. Have a great day.
Hello and welcome to Focus on Liberia for education, information, culture, entertainment, and overall wide variety of programs. Tune in to Focus on Liberia, the best in Liberian diaspora television. We are focused on Liberia, from Kwatawi Falls to the Blue Lake of Bombay, from the Bella Forest in Bapolu to the Atlantic coastline in Buchanan, from Lake Piso in Cape Mount to the Putu and Tiempo mountain ranges of Ground Jide, from River Nowo in Grand Cru County to Foya in Lofa, from the Firestone rubber plantation in Habel to the Port of Harper in Maryland, from Providence Island in Monrovia to Sacrepie in Nimba, from Sister City in Riverside to the Kilipo Range in River G, from the Gola Forest in northwest Liberia to the valleys of Jiripo in Sino County. We are focused on Liberia with the strong conviction to educate, elevate, and promote all things Liberia, our glorious land of liberty.
At Focus on Liberia, we discuss everything Liberia, from education to politics, arts and culture, entertainment, agriculture, history, religion, family, and technology. Focus on Liberia uncovers and showcases the best of Liberia and shows the world the truth about Liberia. We educate, elevate, and promote all things Liberia. We conduct interviews, panel discussions, debates, and more. Tune in to Focus on Liberia on Facebook and YouTube and be a part of the stories that make up the news.
This is Focus.
All right, this is Focus on Liberia. Welcome back to our audience out there in Radio Land and also on Facebook. Welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon in a rainy Monrovia. Now we are on our traditional path. I'd like to welcome our panelists on today. So I'll give them a minute just to say hello to Liberia, and then we'll kick off from there. Dr. Pearson, how are you doing this Saturday?
I'm good, Mr. Padmore. It's a pleasure to be on the show this afternoon in Liberia and this afternoon in the U.S., morning, I should say, in the U.S. And hi to my fellow panelists. Liberian people, yeah, hello. I hope you're doing well.
All right. Dr. Williams, how are you this Saturday?
Thank you so much, Mike. It's a pleasure to be here back in the conversation regarding our beloved Liberia. However we can help, if it's just having a conversation, however we can help, we're always happy to be in a conversation. Welcome to fellow panelists as well, Dr. Pearson, Mr. McGill. And let me say hats off for the show you just ended, Mike. That was good.
Thank you. That's an awesome guy, man. That's an awesome guy, and we're working together. And I thought I shouldn't be selfish, so I will share him. With everybody else until he can't do my work. He start going down. I will bring him back. But until then, yes, I felt I should share him with everybody. Mr. McGill, you went off there for a second, so I will go ahead and bring in Mr. Sharif there, and then when Mr. McGill comes back, we can go back to him. How are you doing this Saturday morning in the U.S. and afternoon in Liberia? Mr. Sharif, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Go right ahead.
Good morning, Michael. Good morning, everyone. It's great to be here.
All right. Sounds good. Steve is still off yet, so we'll see what's going on. I think his internet might be doing a little trick there. So we'll hang out for a little bit and see what he does. Okay, but here we go, gentlemen. Time flies when you're having fun, so let's get to it. I have a couple of topics here this Saturday. The first one I wanted for us to talk about the ban on school parades. Now, we all grew up in Liberia. We all went to we used to have August 24th Flag Day, but that wasn't the only one. We also used to have our I'm looking for the exact word we used to use.
Gala Day.
Gala Day. There you go. Gala Day. We never used to call it homecoming. Homecoming that our American people think.
Right.
But we used to call it Gala Day. Where we'll get dressed and we will march. Because there are a lot of students. We used to march outside of the campus, even if there are 2 blocks. We'll march outside that campus. I remember I went to General. We used to march up to our street, all the way to Thomas Boulevard. Then we'll bend 1 block, then we'll come back down. The whole thing was just to celebrate your school. All of a sudden, and what I'm hearing from most educators, without any coordination with schools, the Ministry of Education, along with the Liberian National Police, have decided to ban this practice. Please, before I get to any of you, please let me give Mr. McGill an opportunity there. No, there you go. Just give me an opportunity here to say good afternoon to Monrovia, and then we can go forward. Mr. McGill, how are you doing this afternoon?
I'm doing good. Good afternoon. I'm greeting you all from the mountains of the Appalachians here in West Virginia.
I see
And I want to say to my fellow people of Bon County, Kaunge, Katwae, Tada, Nwanga, Kakwe, Branga, Kapaku, Noto, Yamaya. Thank you there, Mr. Patmo. I appreciate it, and it's good to be here in this all important celebration.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. The only thing I know in Pele is Kala E. The only thing I know
Baku Maime.
The only thing I know in Pele. Other than that, I don't know any other thing. But welcome, Mr. McGill. So first let me go to Dr. Williams here. Dr. Williams, man, support the Gala Day Parade.
Yeah, it's still baffling how and why the ministry came to the decision to ban such an important aspect of the educational process, because that singular event presents for Liberian students an opportunity to exhibit a lot of different skills, especially on the leadership front. It is our pathway to instituting leadership in the form of external classroom, external programming. So students are able to connect with the community and exhibit some of the skills that's critically needed in terms of their leadership and personal development. And so curbing the program does generate enormous trepidation from educators, because what essentially is happening is there is a need for control. Mm-hmm. There's absolutely a need for control. And so that is not the issue. What I think the ministry needed to focus on more is that a lot of the decisions we make have implications, social, educational, economic, and what have you. And I understand the standpoint from where the ministry is coming from, that the blockage of the roads and what have you, but those aren't as extensive enough to warrant the ban. It can be controlled. There has to be a level of standardization that goes on. It happened in the past, it can still happen today. But to outrightly ban that process, where even the Liberian National Police generated some form of income as a result of some of those programs. You're not banning that program. A critical arm of the educational process, I think, is it needs to rethink. It needs to rethink, and public response to the ban speaks to how ill-informed the decision is to ban the process. We think it can be reformed. We think there's a lot that can be done, like holding school authorities responsible for the actions of their students, and so those things can come in, but outrightly banning that process doesn't speak well in terms of the ministry's approach to engaging what I regard as a public policy issue.
Okay, all right. Mr. Sheriff, the minister talked about safety. And I think they threw some kind of number outside there about how many injuries have been made. I don't know where they got that number from. And nobody can find where they got that number from. But here's a picture here that's in front of you. And for those of you by Radio Land, this is a picture of a queen. I believe it's a queen for the school, and the first runner-up sitting on top of the car. And I cannot help but notice right next to the car is a police officer. What say you here?
Thank you, Michael. This is one of those extracurricular activities that we enjoyed during our time in high school and or before high school, elementary school, junior high school, the high school level. It was an enjoyable event for those of us who went through this rite of passage, if you will. And so to ban that in 2025 screams authoritarian. This is not well thought out. So it begs the question, why? Who's running this country now? Is it the police director who's running the country? Or is it Joseph Boakai who's running the country? I'll tell you one thing. My speculation is this is the next step to the clamp down on peaceful protests. This administration has heard that there will be protests for their decisions, irrational decisions made, the dictatorial tendencies. So this is the lead up to those bans, if you will. I mean, we all, I'm sure Joseph Boakai went through some of this parade. Our parents were proud of us when they saw us in these parades. When we were passed, we didn't parade in Monrovia, Michael, like you guys, but we parade in the interior of the country, and it was something. Whenever your parent, your mom or dad saw you in that parade, your brothers and sisters saw us in these parades, and they would look for their son or daughter who's in the parade.
Yep. Yes.
I said, here goes, there's my son right there. There's my brother right there. All these different things. Yes. And it's part of the educational process.
Yes.
And so that the police director and the Minister of Education raised concerns about public safety and all these different things. I respect that. That's what they're supposed to do. That's what they're supposed to say. But you know what? It is the role of law enforcement to ensure that those guarantees and those safeguards are set in place for those kinds of parades to be peaceful, those kinds of parades not to go out of control. How about instituting a system where, there has to be permits, to do those parades, and the police has the responsibility to ensure that they're marching alongside the parade routes, and to make sure that there are no violence or there are no out of order individuals who are, disrupting these parades. So The police once again, this police director has absconded his responsibility to the Liberian people. So I'm going to go ahead and condemn this decision as authoritarian. Again, this is the lead up to a clamp down. The Bouakai regime is clamping down on the Liberian people. It must be said. This is what Mr. Doe did to us when he came back from the C.H. Doe High School, because C.H. Doe was burned by some operative in the government. Mr. Doe came back from Bombing Hills and banned student politics throughout the country. We condemned that at the time. We protested against the military autocracy at the time. And I'm going to go ahead and condemn this in the strongest possible term. This is a non-starter.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Chairman, please, you guys, don't take me to be a little rude. I'm going to try to shorten our responses so that we get as many going as possible. Mr. McGill, I'm sure you took part in some of these things a long time ago, just like all of us. But what's your take? What's your take on the Ministry of Education banning school parades totally? Mr. McGill, can you hear me? You're breaking up. You're breaking up. I know that Appalachian Trail is going to give you a hard time in those hills today. And then you are frozen. Let's give it another shot. Let's give it another shot. We still can't hear you. We still can't hear you. Sorry. We'll go to Dr. Pearson. Hopefully, we'll come back to you. You'll be in a little clearer spot. Dr. Pearson, the people banning Payroll, I mean, all of the things that came with it has been banned, and this is what I wanted to show. Students, young men, and women. You see that guy right in the middle there? So serious. Leadership being exemplified. What's your take on the ministry just banning this, man?
Thank you, Mr. Palmo. It's a good question. It's safe to say that for the good of information sharing, that the ban is partial. Partial in the sense that it is not a total ban on parading on students parading. I think when I read the information from the Ministry of Education and follow up with the LMP, it's a partial ban on parading in public on public streets. So rather they are confining your parade to a confined space, probably like if one on the SKD Sports Complex, you can do your parading there, as they put in. If you were to do your parading in your school confined local roads, they will permit that, but not on the principal streets. I think with that clarity, then it is safe for me to say that with being someone who also grew up in the same activity, I can say outright that that instilled in us some sense of strong patriotism, some sense of strong nationalism. When you were selected in your school to be a part of the parade, and not just being a part of the parade, but playing a major role in the parade, man, that was a big thing for you, you know. And if you were selected to give the eye, they would call it back in the day, they would call it the eyes, right?
All right.
You know, if you're selected, I mean, you practice all your steps, I mean, multiple days before time, making sure that that eyes right is getting your right foot on the line, your right hand up at the right time. And those were proud moments. You left from there feeling that you were a patriot, and that just being in a parade alone, you felt being a Liberian was a good thing. So, but I guess it goes back to what we say majority of the time on this platform. People want to lead country, and people are given roles in government without being properly prepared for those roles. And one of the things I would say, and I always say, is that in social development planning, consultation with community is very important. Collaboration with key stakeholders is also important. I have 4 schools in Liberia. None of us were contacted on this decision. All right, I got 2 elementary schools and 2 high schools in Liberia right now. None of the institutions were contacted on this decision. But
So
again,
let me ask you a question. So if
yeah.
the schools are not contacted, how are they supposed to know? How
So
are they supposed to know local role? How are they supposed to know partial? How are they supposed to know confined space? And most of these schools, confined space, you can't even get all the student populace on campus correctly. So what I mean, how are they supposed to know?
I think one of our panelists made a very good point initially, is that when we did this in the past, like during dole time and even during the early time, it was important that we notify the nearest police station, and then they will provide some escort, and then they will do traffic. They will direct the traffic, depending on where you're parading, and then they will have you guys take a lane to leave another lane open. But it is a fact, though, that parading after the impulse or Liberia has gone out of hand, and there are times schools take to the main streets without proper notification to the authorities, and totally obstruct traffic. Let us take into account that Liberia post-war has had a high influx of the population drifting towards central Monrovia, which was not the case before the war. And now the traffic situation in Liberia with our parade is a nightmare to begin with. Traffic direction is also poor. So and our streets are very, poorly laid out. And, it's a one way to town, one way back out of town kind of a situation.
Yeah.
So I can see where the police and the education ministry is coming from, in addition to the reckless driving, doing parades, and reckless behavior. Okay. I know back in the day when we hosted our kids in parade, when they had to sit on the car, it had to be a car with an open top, and that little space to the passenger seat, and the kid will have to stand from in there and just put the upper body up from in the car and not sit directly on top of the vehicle, which is hazardous for them. And if you have someone kids in that condition, like I just saw in that video, for me it's totally unacceptable.
Okay.
And I think these are things we can correct and make a better decision planning with the stakeholders to ensure that we don't curb or just take decisions that are rash and not beneficial to the entire population in a way that is meaningful.
Sounds good. So I mean, promoting public safety is good. Promoting the free flow of traffic is good. I don't know what to say when you get a 7 to 8 yellow machine and you put it in the middle of traffic in the middle of the day, and you get Unity Party people hanging from cars celebrating yellow machine, and at that point nobody get time for safety or traffic. They just celebrating yellow machine, and mama cars belated and sitting on top of. I mean, it's okay. I mean, the safety of our children is principle. So we'll go with that for now. Talking about yellow machines.
Michael, 1 second, right? 1 second.
So
to say that,
I'll give 2 minutes, and then I'll continue.
To say that this is not a full ban is disingenuous on the part of the police, that they inform our colleague that it's not a full ban. They're banning celebrations, like when your son graduate, your daughter graduate, your family member graduate. They're banning that celebration as well. So they're taking a lot of fun out of education now. This administration is moving in the direction of anti-education. This is ridiculous. The job of the police, the job of the Ministry of Justice is to ensure that these parades are held in keeping with the confines of safety. But they're not doing their job. So they're absconding their responsibility. They're abandoning their responsibility to put this on poor kids. Michael, you just said it. Some of these schools, they don't have enough space on their campuses where they're going to parade. They're not going to get out in the street anymore. The campus can't even contain these kids anymore. So some of these schools are in environments where there's no room to do anything else. So what are you going to do with that? So I don't agree that this is a partial, but it's a full ban, and it's a lead up to something diabolical.
I need you guys to mute yourselves, please. Okay. All right. So there you go. I mean, look, we're hoping that the government rethinks this. We're hoping that they call stakeholders to the table, which is what they should have done in the first place. And we're hoping that they make some common sense adjustments. That's all. I mean, look, I get the public safety. I get it. Totally. We don't want to put our children in harm's way. That should never be. But there are ways of getting these things done. You know, informing the police ahead of time, working through a process, where you want to go, where you're going to pass, what time you're going to do it. You know, maybe the least traffic time. Maybe we can map out a safe route. You'll be in and out, and that part is done. There's so many things they can do. And communicate. Dr. Pearson had to reach out before he could get clarity on what they were even saying, you know, to communicate with people. Anyway, so look, let's move on here, because we'll keep watching, we'll keep listening, and we'll keep pounding, and we'll hopefully there will be some changes here. But we are back to the yellow machines, my people. So this past week, we saw the vice president. I just realized the other day that the president will order the country, the vice president will order the country. The president was took a private jet. No, he used ASCII. He used ASCII the last time.
ISCAR, yeah.
Yeah, ISCAR. I don't know why I keep going to ASCII, but ISCAR used ISCAR. The VP was in China. The speaker was in Guinea. I mean, like the whole government just left us. so man, what's that? Anyway, we're back to the yellow machine. We heard in the first time that we were told that the yellow machine will cost nothing. We were told that the yellow machine was coming from a friend in South Africa. We were told that the reason why we not saw anything on paper because it was a gentleman's agreement. Then we were told that no, the machine will cost $80-something million. Then when we raised our voices, everybody kind of stood back, and then we found out, oh no, it will cost $25 million. And then we've been asking, where is the PPCC process? Why is there no bid or request for proposal put out so that they can receive bids? Then all of a sudden, we hear the VP is in China inspecting or communicating with potential bidders. Potential bidders. He is communicating with them. And he has taken a whole entourage with him, including the PPCC Director General, who is supposed to be the independent body here that has no connection to this until they receive the bids. Dr. Williams, what say you on this China trip?
Well, Michael, beyond the China trip, there is a very urgent need for this government that has the opportunity, ample opportunity, to sit back and truly, honestly, and I use the word rationalize the structures they have, and within there, do their utmost to promote accountability in the ways they work and transparency in the way they operate. Okay? You just laid out a very ugly situation where the PPCC that's supposed to be receiving these bids are the ones now represented on a team to go scouting for bidders or potential bidders. That shouldn't be the case. It runs contrary to the whole ideal of why we need a public procurement system in place, you know? And so, yes, there are lots of deficits that we've seen over the years, over the last one and a half, almost 1 and 7 months now that we've seen. There's a lot to be fixed. Are there efforts to do so? I will hope so. It's not clear from every indication. It's not clear what's going on and who's responsible for what. I mean, to see the vice president leading that effort, yes, he led the effort to reduce the amount from 80-something million to some 22 million. But, you know, you can't have the player and the referee, or the referee acting as player at the same time in a transparent process. It doesn't work like that. And so after the vice president's job, it should have been turned over to another entity, preferably the PPCC, to put the bid out and assess, you know, requests submissions, bids, but that hasn't happened. To go out looking speaks to how desperately this government wants to score some mark.
Mm-hmm.
Speaks to it, and it is that in that desperation that we keep making, and I say we, the government keeps making the number of mistakes that they're making.
Okay.
The desperation to just stand out. That's unfortunate.
All right, Mr. Sheriff. So here we have it. I mean, normally you would think that the Ministry of Public Works through the PPCC would put forward a request for proposals, and they will receive bids. Once those bids were received, they would know the parties that are interested. And then they could do their research and the investigation and see who is really, who the play people in there, who the serious people, and who's going to do business with them. Instead, they have put the cart before the horse. They're out there now with potential bidders, even before the request for proposal has been built and issued. What do you think is happening here?
Well, look, I'm not going to say much about this because this is one area where my priorities for national growth align with the administration. I'm one of those who believe that we need roads. We need great roads. I'm not talking about, you pave over, take away the mud, as we say, the muddy roads, you fix the muddy roads, and then come the next wet season, you go right back to square one. I'm talking about real roads that respond to 21st century needs and demand. So if the government takes an action that's really beneficial to the Liberian people, I am supportive of such an initiative. But yes, your point is absolutely well. Your question is well phrased, and it's something that should cause concern. That's why the legislature come in to make sure that the government is doing the right thing. The government should do the right thing with regards to bidders. But as far as these yellow machines, you guys know me, and my friend Clarence is going to come on here and talk about how I've been supportive of these yellow machines. I have to, because there are no roads in Liberia anymore. There's no roads.
Are you convinced that these machines are going to solve the road issue in Liberia?
It might be a drop in the ocean. At this point, I want something. I want to badly see something, and because a lot of us, have not had the opportunity to work in, this government, any other government, Liberian government, to make that difference. Mm-hmm. So some of us just keep praying every day. Look, believe it or not, sometimes I pray so hard that, man, I need roads. When I drive out here and I go to a place like Delaware, I go to New York or Maryland, places like that, or even in DC, and I see the roads, and then I pray for my country. I want to see something like this. It's not hard though. It's not really hard.
No,
so
it's a simple question.
Yeah,
if you sincerely believe that these 285 machines will solve the road problems in Liberia, no, not solve.
It's a starter.
No,
it's a starter.
Do you think it will start to alleviate the road problems in Liberia?
It's a starter.
Okay.
But like the president said, if you have 3 machines, right? Okay, 285, you divide 285 by 15 counties. What is it? It's a lot of 19 machines for each county. 19. Maybe Montserrado will carry the lion's share of those machines.
No, according to the government, each county get the same amount. That would
okay. I mean, again,
so 19.
Those details have to be worked out, because you can't You can't say Riverside will have the same amount, the same number of machines as Montserrado or Lofa County, perhaps, or Grand Gita, perhaps. So those details have to be worked out. But the fact that these are things that the administration is thinking about, this squarely aligns with my priority for national development.
Okay, thank you so much. Dr. Pearson, before you say that about Mr. Sherry here, I mean, because we know you come here. Yeah, look. So yeah, here's my thing. Here's my thing here, and I really want for you to help me understand this. Okay, the president was sitting in front of one of the executives from Sani. I was watching that online, I believe, through OKFM, I believe, one of the sister stations that was privileged to travel along with the VP. And that's how we managed to watch through them. I don't know why they were chosen, but that's who we watched through. And he said to the Sani executive, the reason why we are here is one, to make sure that it's a good machine and that we will get our money out of it. Excuse me here. I thought the government is supposed to inform the PPCC what they need and allow that agency to do the fact finding, to do the quality control. What I mean, like the vice president is heading this now. I asked the question and said, I was looking in the delegation for the head to the mechanic because he stopped in suit. So that who inspecting the machine for quality? So here we are. The vice president is leading this thing. He's in front. How does the PPCC follow? How do they follow this process?
Mr. Padmore, it goes back to, and I will not bother my friend Mohammed on this yellow machine stuff anymore. But I can say this much, Mr. Padmore. There are a couple of myths that are going around in Liberia that I want to dispel. Mm-hmm. The presence of no matter how many yellow machines will not change the current condition of our country. What changes the condition of the country is the quality of your plans and the quality of the leadership you provide in the presence of resources, right? So let me give you an example. What do I mean by that? Okay. We've been hearing about 285 yellow machines. Who have seen a detailed plan as to how those 285 machines will be managed? How would they be maintained? What are the costs to the Liberian government in terms of maintaining them and operating them? Who's gonna be trained to operate? You know, the detail to those things are lacking. And for us to have had this conversation for over a year, we have not seen that plan. It's baffling. Another myth that we need to erase here is that they're not looking for value for money. This whole process of the 285 yellow machine was an orchestrated attempt to have defrauded Liberia of monies that would not have been able to track if we did not raise the concerns that we raised. My own good friend and brother, T. Jaratrese, on his 50th show, he will put his head down on a chopping board for him to cut it because he wanted a 285 machine so that he can get road to go to a county and come back. And one of his protege, his trainee, said, T. Mas, you sure you want to put your head on the chopping board for a politician, a Liberian politician? He said, my picking, I put it there now. If you get the axe, call it. Today, T. Mas Jarate is walking without a head. When I say without a head, I mean he lost his integrity on the issue of that yellow machine to his young protege. So, and this is where Liberia need to wake up. Now, which country will elect a vice president to go procure yellow machine? Mm-hmm. You know, if you work in my company and I hire you as a managing director and I see you leaving your senior level managerial role to go down to the logistics department and to go buy vehicles for the company, I dismiss you. I rarely dismiss you because it tells me you are not managing the human resources that was entrusted to you to begin with. Why do we have a country where the president keep appointing committees over people who got responsibility to do their own jobs and they are being paid to do their jobs with taxpayer money? Then to make matter worse, the vice president is out of his place as the chair in the house to sit and chair the Senate. He out there doing procurement job. What are we talking about? What to procure? What 285 yellow machines? Mm-hmm. It's embarrassing. And then the last myth here is that people are saying that we have integrated institutions in Liberia like the LSCC, PPCC, and GSC. We don't. No. President Boyka, He destroyed those institutions. The meaning, he started undermining autonomous agency, undermining 10 new positions. He even went as far as demonstrating that he has the power to close up the National Elections Commission. He demonstrated that to the extent the position that will supervise transparent and free and fair elections in our country that will determine his stay in power, he has the ability to put that person aside when he wishes to. He's demonstrated that. There is no PPCC. Those guys are just on a committee to get a DSA, and they come back, it's just going to be a rubber stamp, and that's it. It's simple.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. They're going to say, what's up to you, yeah, Dr. PSC? Yeah, so look, gentlemen. Yeah, I mean, we've all had our say. So we'll continue to look to this government. Hopefully, I mean, you expect at a point like this, we don't expect our leaders to know everything, but we expect those with responsibility to provide that information. Why the PPCC leader did not caution the vice president and said, this is not a trip you should be on. This is not how we should go with this process. It almost seems like since we went from 82 to 25, it almost seems like the only person that the president trusts right now with money, that the VP. That way you say, VP, please go China and go find out, because if I send anybody else, they will steal. If you believe that your circle is filled with thieves, you need to change your circle. You don't take a VP from her position and forcing into that. You change your circle. Why Mamaka Belete still has a job is beyond me right now. But anyway, that's where we'll start, and we'll move on. Since we are talking about traveling, and all of our leaders were gone this week, President Boyka was noted on a BBC interview defending flying a private jet. I'm one of those people who believe in efficiency, but let's all be honest here. The United Party mounted a suppressive political campaign against George Weah and the CDC for flying private jet. Today, they are justifying flying private jet. So I would love to hear from you, Mr. Sheriff.
Yeah.
Flying private jet. Yesterday were bad, today good.
Yeah. It was a bad thing that we all talked about, right? A lot of us criticized the George Weah administration for, incessantly flying, or consistently flying private jets all over the place. And it was bad then. It's bad now. It screams hypocrisy to me. So instead, here's my solution to this. So instead of consistently flying private, I believe that the Liberian state can afford a presidential jet,
okay,
where this can be purchased for the use of the president of the Republic of Liberia. Not, Joseph Boyka lost the election in 2029, so he's going to take his ball and go home, or his party loses the election, and then the Unity Party people will say, oh yeah, this is our jet, we're going to take this and go home. During the war, so before the war, I believe that Tobo had, or before the coup, I should say,
before the coup,
Tobo had I think it was a jet stream or whatever they call it. It was, Speedy One. I did a research the other day, and I saw this, I saw the picture of it. It was called Speedy One. So he took this across the country. And this was for development purpose. He was in a hurry. He was really in a hurry. So he comes in, You know, Torbo had a yacht. I mean, Topman had a yacht, and he did away with it. He sold his yacht. We don't need his yacht. It's luxury, and that was the correct thing to do. And he had Speedy One and going all over the country. Who in Liberia at that time and now can attest that Torbo didn't step in their county? There's nobody that's going to say that, because he was in such a hurry to do something for the country. So what I'm saying here is, if the president of Liberia feels that he's in such a hurry to do something, I'm supportive of that. I'm supportive of this president, of the legislature giving him that budget to purchase a presidential jet for the use of the president, where he can go all across the county all across the country without delay. And this presidential jet is for the Republic of Liberia, not for President Boakai. And I don't believe that they should have this long fleet of vehicles. So you're going to cut down on some things. Cut down on the long fleet of vehicles that you have. Cut down on the, unnecessary expenditure and stuff like that. Give the president a presidential jet, the office of the presidency, a presidential jet. I am in supportive of this. That is the right thing to do.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Dr. Williams, President Torbo had a jet. President Doe had a jet. Most people don't know this. President Doe had a jet. I look at our budget at the time, the Liberian government budget, and I look at it now. And I ask myself, why are we having even this conversation? Liberians were able to do so much with so little. Now we're talking about we're knocking on the door of $1 billion, and we're here talking about we can't afford. Can we or can we not afford a presidential jet? I mean, I don't know if you like. Even during those, it wasn't even a big deal. It didn't even make news. I do not remember the presidential plane making news. It was just it came with the office. What say you today?
And then, Michael, just before, please, can you let me just 1 second, right? 2 seconds.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Doc. So, and then what Mr. Doe then, what he did was, I think in the heat of the war now, after the smell that the regime was falling, and then they took this jet to some European country. I heard it was in England somewhere, where I think they were still paying for this, and this jet was seized. So you can't do such a thing. You cannot personalize this. Leave this in the country for the next administration. It could have taken it to any West African country, bring it back after the war. That's the kind of thing.
They actually took out the presidential family the last time left Liberia.
Yeah.
So Nancy Doe and her children left Liberia. They went to England. They had a jet in England,
and they left it right there.
Yeah, because of course, I mean, at that time, think about it now. It was the heat of the war. Nobody was flying back.
Bring it back to West Africa. Bring it back to somewhere in West Africa.
Yeah, but you know how it is.
Yeah.
At that time, there was nobody to step up and do that. Dr. Williams, please. We are.
Yeah, so it's good that you guys mentioned the Torbo era, because we who were fortunate, and all of us on the state panel probably grew up around that time. Torbo did not just have Speedy One. He had Air Liberia. And Air Liberia was commercial. It went around the country. Again, it speaks to how could he have done so much with so little, And so when you reflect on that, you see that what's happening today is a question of misplaced priorities. What do we want? How do we want to get there? How are we getting there? But let's pick it back to the yellow machines. And I think fundamentally, the government still hasn't been able to tell us the basis for 285. Where did that number come from? What is it intended to achieve? What are the management plan? What are the deployment plan? What is the maintenance plan? Well, all of that will fall in the background, but more importantly, why 285? Why 285? I mean, my small grant crew would could be transformed with even 5 machines. They don't need 19 machines. Who's in Grand Crew to manage 19 machines? You know, who's in Grand Crew to manage 19 machines? So something again, it speaks to the desperation to make a point, a desperation to impress upon the people of Liberia that we're here to transform. But I say this to my government: there is so much that can happen without spending a dime, without buying 285 machines. There are lots of structural issues we need to put in place. There are structural issues we need to address. We have an over expansive government. Why do we need? Just the other day, we saw protests with the group of 77 and these groups in the street. You have a commission on disabilities. You have the Minister of Health and Social Welfare that pays very little attention to social welfare issues. You have the Minister of Gender and Social Protection that does very little to provide social protection. Why do we need all of these overlapping agencies? As a result, everybody's sitting back, even though they're appropriated for in the budget, but everybody's sitting back and waiting for the other to do what they should be doing. What they should be doing. And so this is the time. I'm not sure what the Governance Reform Commission is doing. I am not sure what the president's priority in terms of governance reform is. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
In the last State of the Nation address, the president spoke about it in passing, like in bullets. There were no details. By now, there should be a national conversation ongoing regarding where we want to take this country and how. This is a president who's been in power for over 40 years. He's been in government. Many of us haven't even lived those number of years, and we have a vision of where we think this country ought to go. And so it is upon us. Our love for our country forces us, compels us to share our frustration. Liberia is too small for us to be having these recurrent issues, governance, structures, corruption. With all of the corruption episodes in the country, there hasn't been one attempt in the legislature or the executive where some form of overarching framework is put forward. Before you come into government, you have to go through this scrutiny. You have to go through this scrutiny. And so, yes, we all want roads. I want to be able to go to Grand Crew and come back in a day or two.
Yeah.
I've not visited Grand Set since 1997. And when I got there, I had to be dropped in by helicopter.
Wow.
Yeah, my grandparents' homes are there. We can't access it except you go by boat or you spend hours, days, or weeks on the road heading to Grand Crew. So we all want roads. But Liberia is not so big like the US that's difficult to manage. It's a small country, which we're just it's putting a lot of square pegs in round holes.
Okay.
That's our problem. Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Dr. Pearson. So here we are. What you've heard from your fellow panelists is that probably they're a good thing, but can we forget and forgive this regime for how they beat on the previous regime for the same action and now look past that? Should we forget that, or does that have to be part of the conversation?
So thank you, partner. I will answer your question directly, and then I will provide other perspective.
Yes,
I also know we cannot forgive them unless we are told what were the significance in their own advocacy prior to coming to power, because they must have argued why it was not necessary to ride private jet. So the circumstances that made it not expedient to ride private jet prior to coming to office, are those issues addressed? So say if you're saying that the country is struggling, the budget is below $1 billion, we don't have a lot of money to spend anyway, so focus on the bread and butter issue of the Liberian people. So if you came to power and on the basis of that you criticize the previous administration, to ride the private jet will mean to me that you've addressed the issue for which you criticize the private jet to begin with. So now let's go past that. Now I hear people saying that Doha private jet. I think you Padmore.
Yes.
I don't think that there's evidence to show that. And I'm not saying it coming from you now, but there's no evidence. We always have a situation in Liberia where we run government and we don't really document things, right? Whether President Doe owned a private jet is not a public record with facts.
No, he didn't. He didn't.
Yeah,
it was a national jet.
It takes me now to Toiba. Did Toiba own a private jet? Yeah, with some also say yes, because we're living at the time I used to go. We're living my house. We're close to the Springfield Airport, so we'll go there when we're about to travel. We got to line up to receive the president as he get in the plane with wet suit and wet king and throw us candy. And we got to be waving while he get on the plane. So we always saw that private jet. So we assume that the country had a private jet. Was it paid for? So it was owned by Liberia. That's another, there's no data to show that. So we go on the speculation that yes, we own a private jet. Now I said this to say, I did not and will not complain about presidents riding private jet. I gave you this joke. When this noise was happening with President Weah, I took my pen, my computer, and I wrote a letter to Angelo Merkel, the chancellor of Germany, begging her to please give my president the celebrated star, Euro best, world best, a private jet for his safety, and to curb the politicization of this whole. I never got a reply though. I did not get a reply to my letter, even though I put it in the mail. But I'm just saying to you how much I thought it was important for presidents to ride private jet. But listen, in as much as I have that belief, a private jet, not custom made like Joseph Burka did, two Lexus, all right, will cost at least $2 to $3 million for a private jet, not custom made presidential design, just a regular private jet. To maintain an alone partner is between $500,000 to $1 million a year annually to maintain it. Yeah. And that does not come with the flying costs and fuel, and all the other technical detail, landing fees, and overnight stay in other countries. So are we prepared to go through such an expensive for an 85-year-old man who ran this country and lived off of this country and did not prepare the country for such a transition? No. I cannot allow President Burka to have a private jet. He does not deserve it. These are people who drove our country down into the mud for over 20 years plus, 30 years plus. His is 40 years plus. Padmo, President Burka does not deserve a private jet. What he deserves is what he said to me before. He can ride wheelbarrow and go to the mansion. Even though the wheelbarrow transition now to Lexus, two Lexus. So I would say, I would be convinced as President Burka set a presidential team down and do an assessment on what it's going to cost the country to own a private jet, to maintain a private jet, to operate a private jet, and then let us see the cost against the benefit. If that outweighs, the benefit outweighs the cost, then I will agree. Until then, let it ride a wheelbarrow. It's Lexus 800 wheelbarrow.
Michael?
Hold on
a second.
If I may. I think we ought to be realistic here. And this is not about President Burka at all. It's about respecting the presidency. At any point of our national life, our president deserves, whoever he or she is, deserves decency, deserves comfortability when they represent the country. I am not, some of the criticisms that came with the previous government was a plane that was parked there on Roberts Field, and for whatever reason it was there, and who they got it from, and what the cost to the government was. I am not aware of those details, and so I felt, and I still feel, part of the basis for those criticisms then was not only the ignorance of some of the people who criticized President Weah for using a private jet, but also holding on to a private jet as he did for the period he was in office. But every president deserves a chance to travel conveniently. And the presidents don't travel in isolation. Presidents travel with their advisors, they travel with security people, and you may overlook, you say, well, he's just a mere president of Liberia. But mere president of Liberia is also a colleague amongst other presidents.
Dr. Williams.
Yes, sir.
I learned that Ellen didn't fly a private jet. Is that true? Is that really factual? That for 12 years Ellen didn't fly a private jet?
Ellen flew private jet when she needed to make her connections.
Okay.
She did.
Okay. I didn't know that.
She did. Nobody should tell you she didn't. She did. Okay. Whenever it was convenient for her to use a private jet to make connections, she did.
Okay.
Yeah.
But all right, let me get to Dr. Sharif here quick. Go ahead. Close up real quick. You good? You good, Dr. Williams? Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, just so we are clear, a private jet is a jet owned by someone, a company perhaps, a private individual, a private company that's rented by, in this case, the administration for its public use, hence the term private jet. Contrast that with a national jet, which we are, I think, Dr. Williams and I are advocating for our leadership, is a jet owned by the Republic of Liberia, by us, by taxpayers, which will be approved by the legislature. I believe Torbot's and those, I want to say particularly Torbot was approved by the legislature. Hence, it was a national jet. It wasn't private, right? So no, he didn't own a private jet. Now, Doe came to office in 1980. It was a national jet. It was probably taken out of the Liberian resources without any legislative approval, but it was still a national resource. I mean, at the time, they didn't need any legislative approval. Anyway, the government was being run by, there were decrees all over the place. It was probably some kind of decree that bought, through that decree that it bought it. But that's not the point. Point is that as long as he purchased that with the national resources, it should have stayed in Liberia. And during the war, if he had any concerns, it should have stayed in West Africa somewhere. Once, he landed the family abroad, they should have brought it back to West Africa, probably in Nigeria for safekeeping. And after the war, surrender it to the new administration that came in. So Taylor would have taken over that jet. And after Taylor, it would have been the next administration. Administration to administration would have enjoyed this. It would have still been there, maybe. Okay, who knows? Who knows? So that's what we're talking about.
Right. Okay. So right now we have about a little less than 30 minutes to go. We have one more topic that we'll want to go through. George, please stand by there in studio, and we'll be going to our telephones here in about 10 minutes. So we're gonna move this one a little quicker, gentlemen, as we go through this. A lot of people saw the civil service agency boss talking once more about ghosts on the payroll again. And we thought we were done with this. We thought we had exterminated all of the ghosts. I don't know if you guys remember back during the second administration of Unity Party, when we thought that corruption was going to be killed, and the president declared that corruption was a vampire. So the more you kill it, the more it come back again for you. Now we hear that there are ghosts. We finish a vampire. We own ghosts now. And where are we with this? I mean, I don't understand it. I really don't. Maybe through discussion with you smart gentlemen, I will get some sense of what's really going on here. So Dr. PSC, I will start with you. Ghosts have reappeared on the government payroll.
Yeah. I follow that back and forth, especially with the labor minister and the civil service director. it goes back to tell us how politicized our country is. When you have a country where people are employed based on political affiliation rather than merits, and people are hunted off their jobs, not because they deserve to be hunted off their jobs, or just because they don't politically align. It is not an easy system to ensure that the payroll system will be up to date. So it's understandable. That speaks to the hypocrisy in our democracy. All right, the hypocrisy in our democracy is so sad. Sometimes we sit in opposition and we make all the noise, and you think when we get there we'll do something different. And it just turned up to be the same old. Liberian man says same old. So that's why I was saying, Mr. Padmo, in closing on this subject, I don't think, like Ellen said one time when I was there, she said, if I could, I would have stopped corruption. She said, but for corruption to be fought, it must be a national effort where all Liberians are able to put their hands down and agree that if we don't solve this menace in our society, then we together jointly agree to take responsibility for the chaos it's going to cost our lives. Unfortunately, even though there's a chaos as a result of this corruption, few people stand to benefit. Now, my colleague sitting on the platform and saying, presidents, they need private jet because it's about the importance of the office. No, there is no value in any presidency in Liberia as we speak. The whole presidency and all public officials in government, not all, but majority of them, are nothing but sheer crooks. They are rogues. They are thieves. They get in public office to dehumanize the ordinary people. The people are suffering. They do not deserve comfort. And so I would say this, I know Josiah Joker, keep doing your best. It's not going to stop. But no, I would say don't make it a public show. Just clean it up as you see it, and so that we don't have this repeated show off between government officials in the public. Yeah. But no private jet for no crooks in our country. Zero. Joseph Brockers to ride wheelbarrow. I say so, and I sanction that message.
Thank you, Mr. Sherry. Go have a peer once more.
Before I go to that, I just want to answer my friend again. We're not saying private jet. We're not saying what we're pushing against. In fact, I think we agree with you that the president does not need a private jet. How many times I'm saying this now for the umpteenth time, perhaps? No private jet. What I'm saying is a national jetliner for the use of the presidency. A national airliner that will be paid for by the taxpayers so that we have ownership. We have a stake, a national stake in such a resource for the Republic, so that if Dr. Clarence Pearson is president of the Republic of Liberia, he can ride that jet.
What if he's a thief?
Who is a thief?
Dr. Pearson. What if Dr. Pearson become president and then he's a thief?
He's not going to be a thief. I know that for sure.
It's just I'm just throwing something out there. I'm not saying Dr. Pearson is, but Dr. Pearson's point is that the government of Liberia right now is misusing the resources of Liberia. Why should the taxpayer then basically present them with a private jet? Why can't they take step one, which is fight corruption, start squandering the resources, and then we talk about private jet?
And I get the point. But the thing is that this man is elected president of the Republic of Liberia, and you heard my point. I said no fleet of vehicles. Cut down on those vehicles, right? Cut down on the presidential fleet. If there are 30 vehicles in the presidential fleet, maybe you need a third. Maybe you just need 10. Maybe you need 5. What do you need 30? Maybe you need just 5, right? When you do so, then the excess resources will go towards obtaining the national presidential jet. Again, it's not private. So I'm agreeing with Clarence. It's not a private jet. We're not advocating for private jet because private jet means that they're renting from a private company right now. They're renting from a private individual. In fact, they're saying that it's owned by someone from Ghana that lives in Ghana. We don't even know this pseudo individual, this person that's in the subterranean world, something like that. Like, what are they paying for this? We don't even know that. So to come back to your question about ghosts.
Yeah, let's make this one clear.
Ghost has always been around. Ghost has always been there. So government after government has not been able to take out the ghost. And it's a way that people get wealthy. It is not shocking that Richard Cohen and his colleagues are entertaining this level of mass corruption. This was the whole reason why he was fighting for speakership. This is the whole reason for the fight. And this has been condoned.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a quick question, okay? Because we gotta go to the telephone line. Yeah. What if we caught those ghosts, prosecuted them, and jailed them for fraud? How about that?
Yes. Then you will begin to see real growth. Because what's going to happen is there will be big returns on those kind of investment, and that's the kind of leadership that we're lacking. We're lacking those kind of leadership. That's what we want to see. But who's going to do that? You have now
presidential jet. The same people advocating for the president for the national jet that the people won't see do those things, Sheriff.
Right. But Mr. Badmore, Mr. Sheriff, where is the responsibility on the part of the voters who put these people we call corrupt?
That's a whole different show there. That's a whole different show all by itself right there.
Until the electorate will convict these people, they deserve, and I said the presidency deserves to travel conveniently to represent us. The presidency deserves to be protected as he represents us. And so those amenities that are necessary to ensure that process takes place, we should.
Okay.
We should. Right. We don't want our president waiting on the side of the road waiting for bus to come.
Mr. Padmo, 30 seconds. Mr. Padmo, 30 seconds. Mr. Padmo, 30 seconds.
And two things can be right.
Let Sheriff finish. I'll give you 20 seconds.
And two things can be right at the same time.
That is
we can all be a critic of this government malfeasance, and at the same time, there's some of us who can look into this and say, look, we need for an efficient administration.
Okay.
We need the administration to have a national jet. We're saying national. We're not even saying private. But somehow, Dr. Pierce is mixing up.
Dr. Pierce, 20 seconds. 20
He's
seconds.
muddying the waters.
Let's be realistic here. Realistic here. Which one of you sitting on this platform will buy yourself a brand new BMW when your kids don't have school fees? Which one of you sitting on this platform here will go ahead and buy yourself a brand new Mercedes if you don't have room for your children to be sheltered? Which one of you sitting on this platform will allow yourself let me learn to allow yourself to wear a $500 coat suit when your children don't have uniform to wear? Look at LU, look at B.W. Harris, look at Cottington, look at Tubman High, look at D2A, look at the hospitals, look at JFK. Who gave him who private jet? Who gave him who state liner? No, we don't need it. We need the condition of our people to improve. That's what we need. Okay. No, zero.
Would you rather some private people take our money then? Some private people.
He said nothing. He said no jet period. The man said no jet period.
No jet.
Okay. George. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for coming on. And please, can we go to the phone lines? Can we give Liberians the opportunity to call in and give their contribution or ask their questions or inquiry on the topics that have been discussed today?
Okay, so folks, wherever you are on the today afternoon and you're listening to the program, focus on Liberia on Kear Radio 95.9. The numbers are called 0777 959 959 0777. Those are you using orange. 0777 959 959 and 0881 871 670 0881 871 670. The numbers to call and be a part on the show. So again, that's a number from your end.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much. So we'll continue discussing. Okay, until we have a call, and then we'll immediately have to halt you in the middle of your speech and go to the telephone lines. Okay, so let's be ready to do that when that happens. All right. So Sharif kind of gave his retort of what Dr. Pearson said. Dr. Williams, I wanted to hear from you. So I mean, you heard what he said. Look, the country is.
Brother Margot, let me just hold you a little bit.
Right ahead.
Yeah. Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yes, my brother. Your name, where you calling from?
This is Brown Tati calling from Johnsonville, Monrovia.
Welcome to the program.
Yeah, thank you. I follow you guys, and I think I have some interest in the procurement of the yellow machine, and I think I lay it squarely. If you're going to procure a yellow machine, and you carry people to test the yellow machine, because you don't just want to look at the fine facing. You want to look at the value, the quality. So you can't leave all the technicians behind and carry political people and say they're going to, access yellow machine that will be good for our country. I think it's a deceit. It's a smoke screen, and I think we'll get nowhere. No machine can. It will take less than a year. Most of them will be down. Thank you.
Okay, my brother.
Awesome.
So, Brother Margot, you listen to the quarter, right?
Yes. I heard it loud and clear. So, Mr. Williams, I already gone to you, so you can touch base on what Dr. Pearson said, and then also what our caller, whether you agree with our caller or not as well.
No, at the end of the day, yeah. Let me start with the caller. And I already spoke to that. The issue of the yellow machines. First, there's some foundational things to address. The basis for 285. The distribution, the maintenance program, what is it exactly? What collection of machines are we procuring for what purposes? And what structures are underground to ensure that those machines, once they are here, are not only deployed, but also maintained to ensure that the goals are met? Are there timelines to some of those goals? I mean, all of that 9 yards need to be explained and communicated to ordinary people so that, the public understands exactly the direction the government is going. But back to the whole conversation around presidency and security and travel of the president, I think regardless of who's in power, it's incumbent upon every nation to ensure that that person, our flag bearer, represents us as best as possible. And when that time comes when he or she isn't delivering, it's upon us to remove them. It's upon us to remove them. But while they're in power, while they're our leaders, we ought to, respect and do our utmost as a nation to provide. Now, some of the things we're talking about, the poverty, the poor quality of the schools, yeah, go back another 20 years, go back another 30 years, go back another 40 years. They may not have been where they are today because some of the things, and Dr. Pearson, some of the things, the experiences we're having as a nation is not as a result of the leaders we have today. As a matter of fact, I will go ahead and argue that the leaders we have today is a direct offshoot of the defects of over 40 years that we're experiencing today.
Okay.
Over 40 years. And so to move this country forward, we need more than just a Joseph Boyka. We need more than just a man in the office. It has to be a whole national transformation. And how do we do that? How do we do that? It has to start, it's a long-range program. We have to start from the schools. We have to start from home, even before we go to the schools. And that's a whole process. The whole corruption we talk about starts from the home. Parents telling kids to lie. Kids go to church, they lie. Pastors lie. You go to the communities. There's cheating at every level. So it's not just in government. It's not just in government. There's a whole transformation.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Has to take place. And yeah, we have to be, realistic about it.
Okay, and just for our listeners out there, The numbers to call are 0881-871-670. And if you're calling on the orange line, it's 077-057-3477. Call in. We just have a few minutes left. If we get you, okay. If not, you can definitely join us next Saturday. We'll be here with more interesting.
Okay, Brother Michael, let me just hold you there. Good afternoon.
Okay, go right ahead.
Hello.
Yes, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon. How are you?
We're doing great, my brother. Your name and where you calling from?
I think that we are calling from where Maggie.
Well, Maggie, welcome to the program.
Yeah, just thank you for the topic on the discussion. There are 2 things in my mind. First of all, I want to speak on the yellow machine. You know, the previous government had a machine, they had machine here before, and now all our machine is down. No mechanics. In the beginning, now kind of a heavy amount of machine will come. How do we manage to work on that machine there? Why is working? Who would maintain that machine there? If they bring that machine there tomorrow and break down again, then they'll be packing. After that money, they could use it to improve the health sector, the education sector, and the agriculture. At least that could improve those sectors. Right?
Okay.
Secondly, the private jet. Yeah, some of us go to school. Let's say some of us go to with hunger. No job. We are in Liberia. We're not living in our own country. We foreigners enjoying the place. Job. We say, yeah. The poor king, they said, we're going to look for job. We're going to build an investor. 1 year plus now. No job. Some of us can go to sleep with foreigners. Gary, they eat in a day. Whole day you eat 1 time a day. Right? Then talking about private jet, mobile, government people are suffering of mobile private jet again. So I can't understand Liberian. I can't understand the whole government business. Thank you.
Okay, my brother. Thank you there.
All right, gentlemen, we're pressed for time. And there's going to be a hard close. So I will be on you. And I'll give you guys 2 minutes each to present your closing remarks. It's okay, George. We can go ahead and stop the calls for now. Thank you so much. We'll go ahead and give our panelists the opportunity to close, and everybody's going to have 2 minutes to chime in on. You can pick a topic, or you can kind of just hop from one to another. It's totally on you. Mr. Sharif, I'll give you your 2 minutes, sir.
Thank you, Michael. So the issue that really caught my attention is the audit by the CSA. And so what we are seeing again is the recrudescence of corruption, malfeasance, the lack of respect for public resources. These things are very dangerous and they're inimical to the national growth of the country. And so when you see all the fights that just occurred in the legislature, it was all about how much money each and everyone can pocket, right? So you now see that. This is the evidence. This is what I was talking about all along. And the government-owned agency, this is not an outside agency. This is the government's own agency that's coming up with this sort of indictment, quite honestly. I mean, you have, besides absenteeism, there were individuals, there were employees who could not be accounted for. For example, in the House of Representatives alone, over 200 employees could not be accounted for. These people are on the payroll, mind you. So what is going on here? When I hear people crying, shedding tears for, oh my God, the Capitol building. Oh my God, the Capitol building got burned. I said, so what? These people are out there not doing anything useful, okay, and they're stealing the Liberian people's money. They're stealing all the Liberian people's money. They're actually looting the Liberian people hard-earned money for themselves. So, again, what was the purpose of your revolution?
Thank you very much.
A revolution. What was that purpose?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Dr. Pearson, your 2 minutes, sir.
Yeah, I think on the issue of the, thank you, Mr. Padman, my fellow panelists and the listeners out there, was a pleasure being on the show tonight. I think on the issue of the partial ban on parade, if the government of Liberia, through the Ministry of Education and the National Police, has taken a temporary move to reassess the situation and put some regulations and things in place to curtail the issues that they are trying to address, I think that would be okay. But I think a complete ban in terms of how parade can access public streets would not be a good thing, because it takes away from some of the come along when we look at how our children enjoy being in school. On the issue about the yellow machine, I'm glad that we're able to protect against theft, because that was just a mass stealing that was about to have happened with that yellow machine and gentleman agreement. It was a good thing that we raised the contention, and today we're able to save some money. On the idea about those guys being out there and the vice president has turned to procurement officer now, it's shameful, it's embarrassing. And I think PPCC shouldn't be out there with him trying to pressure to him then who to account. It's an embarrassment for us. And last but not the least, no private jet. No private jet. What do you want to call it? Private jet or country jet or a city jet? No private jet. Improve the lives of the Liberian people. Improve the lives of the Liberian people. No government official should be comfortable with generator allowance, housing allowance, $45,000 car, bulletproof vehicle, 2 pieces, costing $1.2 million. People building mansions for themselves, and they'll go get them what car again. They got cell phone, how you call it, scratch car. They need nothing more. Improve the lives of education, healthcare. Improve the lives of our people, and I will stop there. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Dr. Williams, your 2 minutes, sir.
Yeah, I'll start from the whole idea of ensuring that our president and the presidency is respected at all times and is given all of the amenities needed to efficiently conduct their duties. I'm in support of anything that helps to ensure that the presidency is protected at all times, whether it's in travel, locally or externally, at all times. Yes, you can undertake the process of poverty alleviation, infrastructure development, but at the same time, ensure that your president is reflective of the representative that he is, without necessarily compromising either or. As far as the ban is concerned, I mean, hearing from Dr. Pearson, it's a partial ban, so we're happy that at least some level of scrupulousness is going into the process to ensure that students and schools aren't denied a critical part of the learning activities, under the extracurricular setting of our learning process. And so I'm happy that is partial. If we're taking what he says as what's obtaining, yeah. Holistically, however, is an issue we didn't talk about, but it's the whole issue of professionalizing the legislature. I think hopefully in our next setting, we can look at that a little deeper. Absolutely. But yeah, overall, it has been a good show, great conversation. And yeah, I am all about accountability in government. I'm about restructuring and reform. The country is in need of reform. And we think this government needs to be more aggressive in terms of the reforms that's needed to address a lot of the issues we have obtaining today.
Thank you, Dr. Williams. Thank you so much. And I want to say a big thank you to our audience out there in Monrovia today. Try and stay dry. I know it's a wet Saturday in Monrovia. It's the middle of the reading season. Well, you guys try and stay dry. We appreciate you joining us today on Kear Radio FM. And we're back again next Saturday. Please join us. Next Saturday, George, we're going to put together a small little package. We'll work on it throughout the week, and we'll do something, okay? So make sure our audience join us. I want to thank you guys so much. And to my panelists, thank you so much for taking the time to join us, have a heated discussion. I like that very much. And I hope you guys join us again next week. Until then, thank you guys so much. George, take it from there, okay?
Okay.
We are Liberians. Liberia is our home. Liberian people.